The key idea in marketing is not how great we can have an ad or how great we can broadcast our message. It's how do we earn our way into that 2/3 of marketing that's occurring without us. We can't buy our way in. How do we earn our way in so that people are talking about us?
Welcome to What Gets Measured, a Ninja Cat podcast about marketing performance management, metrics, and effectiveness. Because what gets measured gets managed. I'm your host, Jake Sanders.
Mark Schaefer is a TED keynote speaker, marketing strategist, legacy podcast host, university educator, and author of 9 books, including Known, Marketing Rebellion, and Cumulative Advantage. His latest book, Belonging to the Brand, has just been released, and he's here today to talk about marketing strategy, community, and branding. Mark, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. It's nice to finally meet you, Jacob.
Yes, as I was just saying before we were recording, a longtime fan. Really, really happy that you could carve out some time for this. So let's get to it. Let's get to like a rundown of your new book, Belonging to the Brand. Why do you think community is the last great marketing strategy?
It really gets down to this idea that number one, it was the first great marketing strategy, and I don't think we've ever forgotten that. You know, when my grandparents used to shop in the neighborhood stores, everyone at the stores knew them. They knew them, they knew their kids, they knew their family, they knew their birthday. They would stop, they would chat, they would gossip, and that was part of the community. There was a real community feel, and we've lost that. And there's been lots of articles in the news recently about how many places in our lives we've lost that connection. We've lost community. It's not something we just want, it's something we need. Now, businesses, let's talk about the business case for this. Marketing just doesn't work like it used to. No one sees our ads. We're living in a streaming economy. They don't hear our ads. They don't see our ad. If they do, they don't believe them. But, businesses have a lot of money. They still need to tell their stories. And most of all, today, and I wrote about this in the Marketing Rebellion book, the customer is the marketer. The real marketing mindset isn't telling everybody how great we are. It's when everybody else tells our friends and our customers how great we are, right? That's what we believe. We believe our friends, we believe our neighbors, we believe each other. So you put all these things together, and that's why I think community is the most overlooked opportunity in the history of marketing opportunities. It's staring us right in the face. It's almost completely ignored as a brand marketing strategy by brands. And not only is it marketing that works, I show in the book there are brand communities. There's no other marketing. I mean, you don't need ads, you don't need SEO, you don't need branded content. Once you have a community, you kind of have everything. And yet it's just completely overlooked by most businesses today.
Well, and so what do you think most marketers are getting wrong about community, and where do you think that misunderstanding originates?
Well, it's complicated. First of all, community really has been overlooked because, in the early days of the internet, every company tried community, but there were lots of technological problems. We didn't have the bandwidth. We didn't have the platforms. Almost all of those communities failed. The communities that persisted were focused on transactions, like customer self-service, which is fine. So most communities that are still around today are focused on customer self-service, and they're completely missing this idea of brand experience. There are a few that I highlight in the book, but I know I'm right. I do. I know I'm right, and I'm not a bragging person. But when I wrote the last words of the book, the manuscript was done. On that day, McKinsey released a major research report saying community is the next big thing in marketing. So boom, nailed it. I'm right. I just know these trends are coming together, that this is the time, this is the moment, this is the new thing we've been waiting for. And it's almost a blank slate. And if you can create the most compelling community in your industry, you're done. I mean, you're going to own it, right? And it's not easy. It's not fast, but it works. And the thing that's so powerful, Jacob, is that not only is this marketing that works, it's marketing that heals because we need this for our psychological well-being. We do. We need it. And our customers are longing to belong. And our children, especially today, have unprecedented rates of depression and isolation, loneliness, and even self-harm. And it breaks my heart. And this is something that can help our business, but also really serve a need in this world.
So I was just looking at something about NFTs and Web3 and how personalized internet, an ownable, immersive internet. And it made me think, like, is that sort of driving people away from communities? Like, if the internet is your internet, it's not like this person's internet. How do you forge a community with such disparate thoughts in regards to this? And is Web3 the future? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's the opposite. I think all this technology, when you cut through all the hype and all this, frankly, dumb buzzwords out there right now, what it's doing is it's giving us a new way to belong. I mean, young people are piling into the metaverse. They're already there. I mean, it's not something futuristic. I mean, Fortnite is the metaverse. There's a case study in my book about probably the fastest growing community I've ever seen, all built on NFTs. These people own NFTs. There are these characters. They're turning them into stories. They're turning them into animations. It's absolutely amazing. Same with Web3, tokenized economies. My community is based on Discord, which is something relatively new. It was a platform primarily built for gamers. It's becoming more widespread. And so, look, every single day I read how, and I don't want to keep talking about Gen Z because it really extends to every generation. But Gen Z has been especially vocal about their need to belong and mental health. And Gen Z, they're not like babies. We just had the first Gen Z elected to Congress in America, right?
Wow.
These people, they're buying things. They're in the economy. In the next 5 years, they're going to be leading our businesses. So let's listen to them. Let's pay attention to them. And we have an opportunity here. And this is something that cuts across every generation. They long to belong. And this is a way that you can differentiate your business.
Well, so and as I've said, you have a legacy podcasts. You've been in marketing for decades. You've seen marketing go through countless metamorphoses. And what are some evergreen strategies that you've seen? And besides community, what do you think the future of marketing might be? Is it this tokenized economy? Is it those kind of exchange communities? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think it gets down to one thing. And this is something I talked about in my Marketing Rebellion book. The subtitle of that book was The Most Human Company Wins. So that's what community is about. It's literally the most human way to connect with your customers. So now we're in this world where everyone is obsessed with technology and algorithms and automation. But there's a backlash against that. And, what I encourage businesses to do is look for every opportunity to show your face and show your smile and show your heart, your passion, your compassion, because that's what's going to make you connect. That's what we need. That's what people are seeking. Today, increasingly, the personal brand is the brand. These young people today, they're not going to believe what you say, and they're not going to fall in love with your jingle or your logo or your ad, but they might just fall in love with you as a person. And that's what they're looking to connect with today. So I think most businesses, what you're doing. If you're doing marketing that people hate, stop it. Just stop it. And you know what people hate because you hate it too. And then double down on what people really want and what they really love. And I think the biggest thing is community.
Well, it's so bizarre because I think a lot of marketers forget that they're also consumers. They put on this marketing hat, they get inside, a spreadsheet, and they just forget of the things that they completely ignore when they're in a store, which is a large majority of the brands, and so they're like, oh, this yellow is going to really hit them, do you see that there's a disconnect in between marketers forgetting that they're consumers and that might lead to this misallocation of effort?
Now, it's not just my opinion. There's a lot of data and research that shows that there is a massive chasm between what marketers think is good marketing and what consumers think is good marketing. You'd expect a little bit of a difference, you'd think a little bit of hubris,
Right.
with
Yeah.
our marketing
Sure.
friends, but it's massive. There's the gap is like 80%. So when a brand says, "Oh yeah, we're being personal," the consumers are saying, "No, you're not. You're bothering me. You're ignoring me." You know, a lot of brands think there's like a value exchange that, well, we're gonna soak up your personal information and we're gonna send you special offers. But there's a value exchange because we're giving you, something for free, a piece of content or something.
Yeah.
And consumers don't think that. They're resigned to the fact that marketing is intrusive and ugly. There is not a fair value exchange in their view. They don't like it. They're resigned to the fact that they live in a crappy marketing world. They're pawns in a marketing world. So this is a moment in time. It truly is to break the shackles of these old ways of marketing and doing business and just double down on saying, and here's the thing that gives me hope
Mm.
and a lot of energy.
Mm.
Young people today, they're doing it. They're doing it.
Right.
They're looking at all these old advertising relationships and advertising agencies, and they're saying, why would we do that? Why would we interrupt people and bother people and, lead nurturing, which is just a friendly word of saying, we're going to keep spamming you until you block us. Why would you do that to a person? We wouldn't treat our friends this way.
No.
And so if you look at what's happening with young business today, 85% of tech startups are leading with community as their marketing strategy, right? Almost every case study demonstrating the future of marketing in the Marketing Rebellion book is led by somebody under the age of 30. They're teaching us a new way. We need to be humble. We need to see how they're doing it. And especially, I'm in awe of millennials and Gen Z and the fearless way they're going to market and the compassionate way they're going to market.
So let's talk about you. You mentioned data and research, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on this, like measuring progress and effectiveness in marketing in an ad campaign. When it comes to analytics, what metrics are you looking at with your clients, or personally, and then what metrics are you ignoring?
Well, it's hard to say because that differs for every client, really.
Sure.
I think my fundamental philosophy of marketing is that most of our marketing is occurring without us. And this is demonstrated through data, most notably a amazing study that McKinsey did that ended in 2019. They studied more than 200,000 customer journeys and found that 2/3 of our marketing is occurring without us. So, and I believe that was before the pandemic. It's even higher than that now. So the key idea in marketing is not how great we can have an ad or how great we can broadcast our message. It's how do we earn our way into that 2/3 of marketing that's occurring without us. We can't buy our way in. How do we earn our way in so that people are talking about us? Now, some of those things are really hard to measure. Word of mouth marketing is almost impossible to measure. A lot of the metrics around community are difficult to measure. I think social sharing is incredibly important. Social sharing represents brand advocacy. When someone is sharing your content, sharing your ideas, I mean, that is a great leading indicator of future sales success. I think subscribers to content, very old-fashioned metric. But those are people who are opting into your message. By definition, this is an audience or a community that's saying, we want to hear from you. So if more, that drives a great behavior, right? I mean, what do you need to do to drive up subscribers? You've got to create just amazing content, and you can't stop. You've got to get better and better and better because it's so competitive. You've got to engage with people. You can't just put content out there and let it sit. And you've got to pay attention. Who are the people that are engaging with us? Who are the people that are sharing our story? You got to treat them like heroes. They're activating your content. They're activating your brand. They are driving your message into that 2/3. So, I mean, and then finally, to wrap up this on about, and I do have a whole chapter in the new book about measurement and community, and some pretty radical and I think effective ideas.
Excellent.
But the one thing I'll leave you with is there was a quote from a friend of mine, Mark Simons, and he is the founder of this amazing agency called Giant Spoon. And he said, look, he said, you can either keep up with the pulse of culture or you can measure. You probably can't do both. Now, I love that and I hate that. I hate that because, I've got the words of Peter Drucker bouncing through my head, which is, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
Right.
But I also know he's right. I know Mark is right that the world is changing in rapid and unexpected ways. The days of the brand bonfire are over. It's all about being relevant in cultural moments and being in touch with what's going on in the world right now. And to do that, you can't always measure it. You can't. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, because the world's going to pass you by. So I think take at least 10%, 15% of your marketing budget and experiment. Go do something crazy and bold. And, maybe you can measure it, maybe you can't. Think about what success might look like. And at the end of your experiment, if it looks like that, double down, try it again, see what else can happen. But, if you don't push into these new areas, the world's just going to pass you by.
Wow. And it kind of reminds me of quantum mechanics. It's like, I can tell you where it's going, I can tell you where it is, but I can't do both.
Right.
Yeah. There's a little quantum side piece for you.
Quantum spookiness.
Yeah, at a distance, right? Yeah. So this is so amazing. I once again, I can't thank you enough for your time. But if you could leave us with one piece of advice for the audience about branding and community, what would that be, Mark?
Well, it's like I said, I think it gets down to this idea of being more human, and the most human company wins, the most human university, the most human insurance company, the most human symphony. What if you were the marketing manager for a symphony, and you said, we are going to be the most belonging symphony? Wouldn't that start a really interesting conversation? Wouldn't people just be so attracted to that idea to say, they're not just talking about who the guest conductor is for Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
Right.
They're making me feel like I'm part of what's happening here. I'm getting to meet their musicians and talk to their musicians and touch their instruments and and I feel like I know these people, and wouldn't that just be amazing? Because that's what we all want. We want to capture that feeling, and the world is missing that. The marketing world is completely lost right now. I think they're kind of sick I think we just are in this trench where we do the same thing year after year after year. We're doing our Facebook ads and we're doing our SEO and we're doing our content.
Right.
Why? Because we're afraid not to. We do a little bit better every year. We're iterating. And meanwhile, our customers have taken a quantum leap away from us, saying, we have the accumulated knowledge of the human race in the palm of our hands. We don't need you like we used to. We want to engage with you in a different way. Our expectation of you and your company is much higher than it used to be. Stop manipulating us. Stop broadcasting to us. We are in control. We own the message. Now, how are we going to belong to you?
Yeah. Now, it's just such a clarion call for marketers to dig into who they are as people and connect with people. And it isn't just buyers in a customer journey. It's like, those are people and you're a person too. How can you get that across? I think it's amazing. And you're such an inspiring figure. You continue to push out. You're not only talking that talk, but you're walking that walk. And I'm pretty sure people want to follow you. My advice is get this book. But if people want to connect with you and learn more about you online, where can they do that, Mark?
Well, it's easy. You don't even have to remember my name. If you can remember Businesses Grow. See, I needed a clever name for my website because I knew no one could ever spell Schaefer.
Yeah.
So it's businessesgrow.com. You can find my blog, my podcast, the books that we talked about today, and all my social connections. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, I'll follow you back. I'd love to hear from you.
Cheese or chocolate?
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Cheese or chocolate?
Cheese.
On a stage or on a page?
Oh, on a stage.
Yeah. Bottom of the funnel or top of the funnel?
Bottom.
Yep. That's where the magic happens. Walk on a beach or hike a mountain?
Hike a mountain.
Led Zeppelin or the Goodyear blimp?
Led Zeppelin every day, all day.
I'm sorry for that one. I just had to try it. And finally, the last question. Desk a little messy or tidy and neat?
It's a little messy.
What Gets Measured is a Ninja Cat podcast. Please rate and review the show wherever you find your podcasts. Share this episode on social and visit us on the web at ninjacat.io.